Alrighty, hello friends. Um, for those of you who don't know, this is Healing Arts Live. This is one of 6 of our workshops that we're hosting this opening weekend. So if you're one of our new students, welcome to Stony Brook. We are so excited to have you join our family. My name is Carrie Mahoney, and I work in the Center for Prevention and Outreach. And I help out with 2 pretty important topics when you're in college. That is substance abuse and recovery, and as well as health education, including topics that we don't always love to talk about, like STD prevention and how to take care of our bodies. Awesome. So we have lots of friends working with us today. So we have Chris here in the audience, who you all probably saw earlier at the 8 o'clock DIY scrubs and mask session. We have Safar with us, and we might have Ashley. We'll see if she pokes into the chat feature. Okay. Welcome back, Madison. I saw you were very active in the last one. I tried to pop in as much as I could with the scrubs and the masks. So I will be totally honest. I have a little hot water going for some tea because this is closer to my bedtime than I would like to admit, but that's okay. So you heard earlier, if you were with us earlier, tonight is Treat Yourself Thursday. So with Healing Arts, the whole idea behind the programming and the different workshops that we host is to really focus a lot on self-care, self-compassion, self-love through fun, creative crafts and figuring out ways to do that when we haven't always known how to do that or were ever told to do that, maybe when we were younger growing up. So sticking with the theme of treat yourself and the fact that I just ate some of my dinner, what is better than a cookie, right? So there's different ways that we can practice self-compassion. And sometimes we get tripped up on that word, right? Or that phrase, self-compassion. What is it? I don't really know what it means, or, how do you do that? How do you practice something like self-compassion? And so what we consider self-compassion is just kind of taking care of yourself, right? Remembering that you can't pour from an empty pot is a famous saying that most of us have probably heard before. And so practicing ways that you can take care of yourself and try to make sure that you're able to give your best self when you're actually taking care of yourself, right? And so treating yourself either to a DIY scrub night or other self-care activities or to a nice little cookie in a cup, those are all really great ways to kind of take some time, be mindful, focus on yourself and your needs, and then also enjoy what's going on around you. So like I said before, we'll whip up our cookie in a little bit. So if you were able to pick up the Healing Arts kit, if you were on campus, you should have a little bag. Oh, yes. Everyone's skin is perfect and glowing from all the scrubs and the masks. I will be totally honest. I make my husband do the sugar scrub mask, and he might not admit it on live. This isn't television, but on live YouTube, but he loves that stuff. Okay, so, and it gets tied off your hands, good to know. So in your kit to make your cookie, you should have had a little disposable hot cup. Should have gotten a small thing of oil, some chocolate chips, some flour, and some more brown sugar. If for some reason you're missing brown sugar, you can always take a little bit of the leftover from the scrubs. That's my favorite part about the scrubs from earlier, is that technically they're edible. Okay, so when we're making our cookie tonight, I'll be totally honest, cookies are probably my number one, like, kind of treat yourself little snack. And Chris said it perfectly earlier. You can have like a little cookie tonight. Tell yourself you're gonna have fruit in the morning, right? There's always like that line between treating yourself and this might be a red flag. We might want to start having a conversation about what's going on, but totally fine to treat yourself every once in a while. Usually my go-to cookie is an Oreo. I don't know what everybody else's favorite cookies are. or if everybody just like chocolate chip is the way to go. But Oreos are mine. And now that we're getting closer to pumpkin spice season, / it is pumpkin spice season because Dunkin' has pumpkin spice out now. I like pumpkin cookies. Okay, sorry. Gotta refocus. Back in. So like we said, we have a cup, we have some oil, chocolate chips, brown sugar, and flour. So if you're watching this from home and you weren't able to pick up a kit, or for some reason your kit's missing stuff, these are probably some things that you can find in your pantry at home. Yes, pumpkin spice is life. Okay, the kettle is going off. I'm just gonna grab that real quick. Alrighty, so it would not be nighttime tea if I didn't use my Stony Brook University dad mug. Far beyond, all the time, you gotta represent. This is not part of our cookie mug. This is just part of Carrie's nightly self-care routine. Alrighty, friends, and I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I have a little music going. I literally typed in chill music to Apple and found some stuff. Ooh, white chocolate macadamia nut cookie from Subway. Yes. This is going to be dangerous. I'm going to want a lot of cookies tomorrow. All right, so I'm just going to let my tea steep over there. Okay. So what we were talking about before, self-compassion, that self-love. There's this idea, homemade rainbow cookies. Okay, I can't read the chat at the same time, so we will be so distracted, and this will take forever to make a cookie together. One of the things that I love that I read, I probably either heard it from somebody at work or I read it on the Explore tab of Instagram when it's like midnight and you're just scrolling. I read this thing that said, would you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, like in your head? And I love that concept, right? And I think that's a great example to help show you kind of what self-compassion is. So when we're talking about self-compassion, it's not just this like fluffy, like, oh yeah, I love myself, everything's perfect kind of thing. It's more like taking time and energy to be mindful of the way you talk to yourself, right? So if every day, if we're not mindful of it and the voice in our head or the narrative in our head is like, you're not doing a good job, you're lazy, you're not going to be able to complete this, we're not being nice to ourselves, right? And so trying to bring mindfulness or awareness to that thought and then saying, excuse me, that is totally wrong. And then listing the reasons why it's wrong, even if it's just to yourself, that can really help us change our mindset. And so if every time after we I consider it stages, right? Like we have that stage where we're starting to bring the mindfulness and we're becoming aware of the thought process, right? We're becoming aware of the fact that we're not being nice to ourselves when we're talking to ourselves. And then the next step is kind of being like, okay, I'm going to stop it now. You're wrong. These thoughts are wrong. I'm not a terrible person. I'm actually an all-star. The fact that you're a student at Stony Brook just goes to show how strong and resilient you are as a person. And I would say like the next step is being like, I'm going to stop this mindset, right? I'm going to try to tell myself that, you know what, I am a great person. And I might not feel like it all the time, but once I notice that I'm not feeling like I'm as awesome as I am, I'm going to do some stuff that makes me feel good, right? And helps me retrain my brain. So that's kind of how I like to think of it. And I think framing it as, would you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, is really important, because we probably wouldn't have a lot of friends if we were walking around being like, you're going to do terrible on that exam. No one would want to hang out with you. No one would want to be like, Carrie, I don't like being your friend if all you're ever going to say is mean things to me. So I hope that kind of makes sense. That's kind of just my version or my spiel about what self-compassion is and how to kind of, I guess, start to practice it a little bit. All right, so then you jump forward. You're up to that point where you're like, all right, I'm noticing some of that, that negative self-talk, and I'm going to be nicer to myself. How am I going to be nicer to myself? Well, I'm going to talk to myself nicely, but also I'm going to do things that make me happy. like make a delicious cookie. So there's tons of recipes online for these things. You can definitely Google them. Some of them require milk, some of them require butter or an egg. We needed to have a totally non-perishable item cookie because we couldn't provide eggs to everybody. That was not going to work. And so what you can do is take your cup. One of the things that we didn't package in there, but some people, if you, I don't know who's home and who's not home or who has access really to vanilla or not, if you have some vanilla extract, you can absolutely put like maybe like a quarter or so of a teaspoon in there, whatever makes you happy. But we're going to go ahead and get started. As we're kind of doing this, so just so you know, if you got the kit, honestly, we're just going to say pour in all the flour, all the sugar, all the chocolate chips, and the oil. If you're at home and you're using a cup, it's going to be about 2 spoonfuls of flour, 2 spoonfuls of sugar, half a spoon full of oil, and as many chocolate chips as make you happy. But that's kind of the recipe. If you have everything, like I said, like you got the prepackaged kit, we're just going to throw it in. We're going to see what happens. So while we're doing this, going back to our conversation about self-compassion and talking to ourselves, some things I think are helpful is having like a mantra. That's like a term sometimes people use. Basically, it's like, do you have a saying that you tell yourself either on a daily basis or on somewhat of a regular basis to like make you feel good, or something that kind of like boosts you up? So throw it in the chat if you have something, or maybe you don't actually practice it yourself, because I always come up with these ideas that like every morning I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to tell myself X, Y, and Z, and then I do it for 2 days and I forget. But feel free to throw it in the chat. If there's any quotes that you really like that inspire you, or sayings or phrases that you kind of use to help ground yourself, and remind yourself that you're doing a really great job at life right now. Okay, I'm gonna throw my sugar in. So everyone here is valid and beautiful, and I hope you guys have a super good day. Listen, that was beautiful. All right, let's see. My mantra is, this too shall pass. I have a bracelet with that. I like that saying too. Sahar said, I like the idea that I've made it through the worst days so I can get through this day. Yeah. And so a lot of the things that come in too with like the this too shall pass, and like kind of focusing on how strong you are, that's really resilience, right? Like that's when we're looking back and we're realizing we are incredible human beings, right? Like I said before, and I said it kind of in a joking tone, but you're all Stony Brook students, right? Like you got into a pretty hard school to get into. And I'm not putting all your worth in your academics. You're way more than just being, you know, a Stony Brook like academic focused student. But that just goes to show that you can handle hard times, because not only are you a student here, but whatever was going on in your life at the time of like applying for colleges and taking the SATs and taking all those tests, like not just like your friends, but whatever might have been going on with a relationship with another person or at home with your family, you have survived all of these things and you have gotten to where you are today, and you're doing a fantastic job. Just the fact that we're all hanging out virtually in the middle of a pandemic, treating ourselves to some cookies, like I'm proud of you all, and I don't even know you in person yet. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. I don't remember any quotes. How many amazing people are in your life? So practicing gratitude is a big part of self-compassion as well. Being grateful for the people who we can trust, the people in our lives who have supported us, the things we have around us. If anyone lost power from the storm, what was that, last week or 2 weeks ago? I'm sure might be grateful for electricity. That was something I was actually just talking about today. It was just the idea that like life doesn't always have to be like these big picture moments. We don't always have to be, you know, like getting the best Instagram picture, eating at the coolest places, you know, taking the perfect like photo or doing all these things. Like sometimes we can just be grateful for having access to food tonight if we do, and you know, having access to an education, having access to friends. Sometimes those things, just remembering those things, can really help us kind of ground ourselves. All right, so if you're like me and you just mixed everything in the cup, it's looking a little dry. So if it looks dry, some suggestions. If you have access to some more oil, whether it be olive oil, coconut oil, whatever you got, I would say mix them in. If not, maybe some water. So I'm going to show you mine. That does not look like cookie dough. Sorry, everyone. In my attempt to show you, I just poured it out on my laptop a little bit. So it's super dry. So I'm actually, because I'm home, I'm going to not cheat, but I'm going to go grab some olive oil to throw in here. And hopefully that will make it a little bit better. I clearly did not practice my Rachel Ray-ness or perfect like my cooking network thing, because I did not have these things easily at my disposal, but that's okay. Oh, not olive oil. Why would I do olive oil? No, canola oil? I think you could do olive oil. What do you normally put? Yeah, leftover coconut oil would probably be the best thing, because also that would give it a delicious flavor. If water is working, I'm going to trust you and go with water, Emily. Okay, I'm just checking in here. All right. I see. Canola oil, because olive oil has... Yeah, I always mess up when it comes to baking and putting olive oil in things. I'll be totally honest. I probably shouldn't have been my expertise is treating yourself in cookies. But yeah, it always has a weird taste. So I'm going to throw a little bit of water in this. Oh, okay, 2 containers for the cookie doughs if you have an extra bag. All right, awesome. Good to know. I'm going to throw some water in this, and then we just want to stick it in the microwave. Oop. Sorry, guys. Nope, not going to sneeze. You want to stick it in the microwave for 10-second intervals and checking on it as much as you can. Lou's on here. Hi, Lou. Oh, that's so great. Lou is one of our former care team members who is now being awesome and I believe became a teacher. I mean, technically you're teaching, right? Okay. So like I said, if you don't have access to a microwave, you're basically just gonna eat cookie dough, which that's totally fine. If you do have access to a microwave, try to microwave in 10-second intervals and checking on it, because if we cook it too much, it will start to get like really dry and kind of brittle. So I will just bring you all in the kitchen with me, actually. Let's do a little road trip. I do not have a massive kitchen, and now you're just going to see everything on top of my fridge, but that's okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. I actually have a little hot water left from the tea, so I'm going to mix that in. That might have been too much. You're really, whatever liquid you end up adding, whether it's extra oil, coconut oil, or water, you're just looking for that cookie dough consistency. Oh, I am excited about this now. Has anybody had the brownies where it's like a brownie, a chocolate chip cookie, and Oreos all mixed in one? I've heard it being called like a dirty brownie before. I've called a few different things, but all right, let's test this out. 10 seconds. Alrighty. Those are so good. Ugh, I love them. They're delicious. All right. So in case anybody was on the call, I did wash my hands before this. Don't worry, everyone. Yep. Oh, that was way more than 10 seconds. I got distracted. That did not bake the way it was supposed to. I'm going to put it in for a few more seconds. Oh, it tastes like cookie dough, though. I'm not sure if anyone has tried theirs yet, but it definitely tastes like cookie dough. Chocolate chips make it. So, like I was saying, if you were on earlier, you probably learned a little bit about CPO. Or if you came to one of our Get to Know CPO sessions, or if you creeped on us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, hit us up. We have great social media. That looks fine. It's going to be a very doughy cookie. If you've done anything, you might have heard about CPO so far. So, in case you haven't, or to really just let you know for the 800th time, what we do in CPO is we educate, empower, and connect. So what does that mean? Our goal is to educate students about the various topics: mental health, self-care, interpersonal violence, substance abuse prevention, and physical health. I would say the major thing we're talking about is the connection between mind and body, and how when you're stressed out and like things just feel really hard, things aren't going great, it starts to take a toll on our body, right? Like our immune system literally doesn't work the way it's supposed to when we're overly stressed out. So when that happens, let's say we get sick. For example, flu season's coming up. When you get the flu and then you can't go to class for a week and you miss work, that then stresses you out. That actually makes it longer for you to be able to recover from the flu or whatever other things going on. So it kind of becomes a cycle about both your mental health and your physical health. And so we kind of try to talk about that as much as possible. That's part of like the education part. What we really want to do too, though, is empower you all to make informed, healthy decisions about your health and well-being. And so that's kind of what we do in these sessions. Obviously, we're educating you about how to make DIY scrubs and how to make delicious cookies in a cup. But we're also hoping to empower you to make life changes, right? So if you weren't already practicing a self-care routine or even a bedtime routine or doing things to treat yourself, we're hoping that after tonight, after Treat Yourself Thursday, that you'll be able to think of some ways to, take care of yourself. With that being said, I know some of you might have talked about earlier, but what are you doing or what do you do to take care of yourself? Specifically in terms of bedtime, does anybody have a bedtime routine or a nighttime routine? Is there anything that like you like to do at the end of the day or anything you hope that you start doing at the end of the day to kind of check in on yourself, check in on how the day went, and maybe treat yourself to some type of positive thing before bed? All right. And as maybe you express some of your evening routines, I'm going to attempt to eat this. It doesn't totally look like a cookie. I think I melted my chocolate chips too much. But I'm going to try. Let's see how this goes. This is delicious. 1 minute 20 seconds. Cinnamon toast. I love cinnamon toast. Keeping up with your skincare routine, lots of skincare routines, journals. I keep a notebook by my bed, and I always tell myself I'm going to write down my dreams in the morning. I've only done it once, something I really want to get into. But also part of self-compassion is not beating yourself up for things all the time. So I'm going to not beat myself up for not following through on that, but gently remind myself that it's something I want. Awesome. What other things? Ooh, yoga stretches. Nintendo Switch has different exercise games. That's really awesome, everyone. Nice. this is something that comes up for me sometimes when I'm trying to practice self-compassion or I'm trying to be nice to myself. Um, Sometimes I'll have a hard time being like, it's okay to practice self-compassion. I don't know if anyone else has felt this before, where sometimes we feel like everybody else's needs are a little bit more important than ours, or we'll kind of tell ourselves that, oh, you know what, like I could, I could go do a DIY scrub tonight, or I could attend a healing arts event tonight, but I could also use that time to do X, Y, and Z instead, whether that's, get our homework done, which of course is also still important, or I could use that time to, be doing other things. We have to afford ourselves grace and patience and just literal time to just be with ourselves and to kind of bring that mindfulness in. Yeah, sometimes we get guilty for taking time for ourselves. I know that happens to me too. Like even taking time, like it's specifically like with relationships. Sometimes it's okay to just not want to hang out with your significant other, right? Sometimes you just like don't want to be next to them in that moment, and that's like totally okay, and like that's a little bit of self-care too. Like sometimes we just need time to ourselves. I remember like yesterday I was like feeling a little stressed out, and my husband was like, oh, like, do you want, let's watch a movie together, and I was sitting there and I was like, what, why am I so bothered? Like I could feel it, I could feel something going on, and I was like, what is bothering me so much? And then I was like, oh, I just wanted some alone time. Like nothing against him, right? But for me in that moment, like I knew I needed some alone time to like take care of myself. Like that's just what I needed. And so becoming aware of what we needed is also part of self-compassion. Okay, sometimes feel guilty for doing self-care. Sometimes even though I know I shouldn't. Yep. Yeah, it's so weird because actually this is a question I would love for everybody to answer. How many people here um, were taught prior to coming to Stony Brook that they should practice self-compassion on a daily basis? Whether you were taught that from a parent or a family member, or if you were taught it in school. I love asking that question because I didn't learn really about self-compassion until I started working in CPO. Maybe in grad school when I kind of started getting involved in CPO as like a student and then became a staff member. But yeah, I think it's so interesting. Yep. Okay. So most people didn't, at least not on a daily basis. Yeah. And then same thing. Like you start going to therapy and it's like, oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing the first 18 years of my life. Huh. Good to know. Yeah. But you know what's so awesome about this? Every time I ask that question, and for the most part, a lot of people say no. You know what's so amazing is that now that we all know that that's what we're supposed to do, or not just that you're supposed to do it, but that it's good for you and it's not something to be shameful of and not something to feel guilty about, is that we get to then spread that information, right? You don't have to be a peer educator with CPO, although we would love everybody to become peer educators with CPO. You don't have to be working in our office to have conversations with your friends about these topics. Like these are things that you can naturally bring up in conversation. And these are things that you can teach your siblings if you have them, or if you have the ability to, or cousins or friends or coworkers in the future. Like there are plenty of ways that you can kind of help spread this information, and talk to people about it's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to take time to do things that you like to do, like eating cookies. It's okay, like eating a cookie every single day. Eating 20 cookies every single day, right? Maybe not the best thing, but it's okay to take care of yourself and to do things that you like. I have much more time to de-stress now since quarantine started. Yes, which is perfect because sometimes quarantine can stress you out in and of itself. So the more time you have to de-stress, the better it is. Awesome. Nice. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I try to like multitask and read the comments while also remembering the other things I'm supposed to be talking about. I'm just going to drink my Parmesan. I'm thinking that whenever we do healing arts, I should have my Stony Brook Dad mug out. And fun fact, the reason I have this is I bought it for my dad. Hi, Dad, in case you're watching this. And I got it for him as a Father's Day present like 3 years ago. And I never gave it to him. And now it's just in my house. And I mean, it's too late now. I'm not going to give it to him anymore. Sorry, Dad. Alrighty. Some delicious tea, some delicious cookies. Let me see. I don't think this is like Zoom where I can share my screen with all of you, but that's okay. All right. So put in the comments how you're doing with your cookies. Let us know if you I was going to say baked them, if you microwaved them, or if you just ate it as cookie dough. And then also let us know how it tasted. Yay, nay, if it was good or not. Because we want to hear from you. We also want to know if this is an activity we should do again or not. Some people did straight cookie dough. Yeah, some vanilla. You know what I'm thinking about? This baked like a little bit more and a little vanilla ice cream. Whew, that would be good right now. Oh yeah, extra chocolate chips. There's never too many chocolate chips in the world. Like we were making chocolate chip pancakes the other day, my niece and I, and she told me, and she's a 5-year-old, you're going a little too much with the chocolate chips. And I was like, what? What 5-year-old tells you there's too many chocolate chips in something? So naturally, I had to add more chocolate chips to the pancake, and it was delicious, of course. Yeah, so a bit more oil and vanilla would be good. Yep. All right. Well, these are learning experiences, so this is great. Some coconut oil in it, and it was basically warm cookie dough, but I enjoyed it. Ooh, okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna save the rest of mine for later. I'm thinking about getting an Oreo and dipping it in it. I think that would be delicious. Okay, so some other things we got going on, which you might have heard about already. We're going to be back tomorrow night on Healing Arts, same YouTube channel. We'll be live streaming it at 8 o'clock. I will be hosting a cinnamon hair wax kit, or hair mask, I should say. It's amazing. So it's in case you want to prep ahead of time for the ingredients, it's equal parts cinnamon and coconut oil, and your hair just feels amazing after. It feels like so moisturized, but it also smells amazing. And I already plan on trying to find some like pumpkin tea or something to drink while you're doing it, because the second you smell that cinnamon, you are instantly going to be like, okay, it is fall. I'm ready. Also tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, Chris will be back hosting probably one of my favorite Healing Arts DIY lava lamps. If you weren't able to pick up a kit, the ingredients are pretty simple. It's mostly like an Alka-Seltzer tab and some oil, but we'll have that up on our social media, so you can just check out our mostly Instagram page, but we have Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll get the ingredients for that up during the day tomorrow, so you'll have some time to go get them. Okay, some people are not cooking. Oh, I am so sorry. That is terrible. I don't know why they don't cook all the way. Sometimes it just kind of become a warmed like glob of flour and sugar. Okay, yeah. I wonder, Sahar, do you mind putting in the handles for our different social media in the chat? If you're still on and not busy and want to do that. If you're gone, that's totally cool too. No worries. But yeah, so that's what we have coming up. I was thinking that before, Yeah, it is hard to make cookies without things like butter or milk. I totally agree. I was thinking that before we all head out for the night, and whatever the rest of the night looks like for you, hopefully it is just, spending lots of love to yourself. I was thinking we could do a quick kind of breathing exercise. It's not like guided meditation or anything. It's literally just going to be some counted breaths. So if you want to join with me, totally awesome. If not, I guess you could hang up if that makes you happy. I'm going to put up the music a little bit. Let's see if I could find it again. Okay. All right. So for me, my favorite breathing kind of basic breathing exercise that I've done is breathing in for a count of 4, holding for 4, and breathing out for 8. And so that might sound like a lot. If it's too much for you, feel free to breathe how you want. But I like to do 4 of those. So 4, 4, 8, 4 times. And while I'm doing it, just trying to but release the day and release any of the tension that you had today, whether you were moving onto campus today, or you had to, go on Blackboard and you saw 1,000 notifications from your professors. Whatever you've experienced today, I hope that if you were able to join us earlier and joining us now, that you were able to take some of that time to just be with yourself, practice some self-love. I hope that at some point today, or tonight, I should say, before you do go to bed, I hope you take a minute to just, be with yourself and tell yourself, I love you. It might even seem weird to say it out loud, but I find that sometimes I'll kind of just close my eyes and kind of just picture myself and say, I love you, Carrie, just to kind of bring it back and kind of remind myself that it's okay to take care of myself and to not to quote Lizzo, but be in love with myself. So anyway, like I said, we're going to do 4 breaths, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. I'll do kind of like a quiet counting if you'd like. I am going to keep my eyes closed for this. You're welcome to close your eyes and kind of just listen. Or you can, kind of bring your gaze down. Or if you just want to watch, that's fine too. Whatever makes you happy. So I usually like to get comfortable. And I like to breathe in for 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out for 8. Six, 7, 8. In for 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And out for 8. You're going to breathe in for 4 again. Hold. And exhale. On our last breath, when you breathe in, if you're able to, I want you to breathe in a positive word. I want you to breathe in love for yourself. I want you to breathe it in. I want you to hold that love in your chest for a moment. And when you're ready, I want you to exhale any negativity. And so that's a super, super basic, quick breathing exercise that you can do to kind of ground yourself a little bit. And then as you keep practicing those different breathing exercises, the whole idea is to kind of bring in love and gratitude, patience, grace, compassion to yourself. And when you're exhaling, It's like breathing out any of those negative thoughts or those negative things that you think about yourself or that you tell yourself. Oh, Chris is still here. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. So our social media handles are there. Definitely follow us on social media. We'll have, like I said, the ingredients up for tomorrow's a little bit before we get started, so you'll have some time to grab the ingredients you might need if you weren't able to pick up a kit. And from what I understand, I believe I'm 98% correct when I'm saying this, is actually we do still have some bags. So if you're on campus and you have a friend that wants some bags, I know student engagement activities, I think we'll be handing some out at some of the events taking place tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned on social media so we can keep you updated about that. Okay. Okay, so when your cookie cools down, it might solidify, become a real cookie. I think that's true for the bottom of mine. I'm gonna try that's just kind of like a glob. It looks more like a brownie than a cookie, and the chocolate chips are completely melted. That might have been because I put hot water in it though, and not just regular water or extra oil. But it's still cookie dough, and it's edible cookie dough because there's no raw egg in it. So my friends, eat the cookie dough, enjoy the deliciousness, or just have a handful of chocolate chips, whatever makes you happy tonight. Okay. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us tonight for both our 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock healing arts. We love doing this. We love working with students, hearing from you, getting feedback from what you'd like, and providing as much of a service as we can to you. So check back tomorrow night. Check back in on Saturday night as well. We'll be doing message in a bottle and vision boards. So Chris and I will be leading those as well. And if you ever want to, reach out to CPO. We put in our social media handles, but you can also just visit our website, stonybrook.edu/CPO. You can check us out on SB Engage. We have plenty of events up there as well as our future healing arts events. And yeah, I think it will be lots of fun. We're going to have a great semester. We're so excited to have you all join not just the CPO family, but Stony Brook, of course. And a thank you to our friends in student engagement and activities, of course, for collaborating on this with us. And we're here for you. So reach out to CPO when you need us. And we love you all very much. Alrighty. I hope you all practice some extra self-care tonight and meet us back here tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Bye, friends.